So, yeah.
So go to chapter 27 in economics, monetary policy. So when I talk about monetary policy, it's basically the use of money supply, interest rate to correct. That's what government use to correct or to make policies that help the country or the economy. So we start with money supply, right? Okay. Yeah, the money supply. The money supply consists of all the money in an economy at any one time. There are a number of measures of the money supply. One counts notes, coins, and current accounts held at commercial banks and concentrate on money that is primarily used as a medium of exchange. So when we talk about money supply, basically we're talking about the flow of currency, the flow of notes, the flow of coins within the country, and money exchange in terms of buying and selling of goods and services. So those flow of money is what we call money supply. So the best known broad measure includes not only notes, coins, current accounts, but also deposit accounts. These measures include money used for a number of purposes, primarily medium of exchange and store of value. So another thing we need to talk about when we're talking about money supply is the deposit account. And we talk about deposit account, we're talking about fixed deposits. Here, that means you're keeping that amount of money, or you're keeping the money for a specific, maybe 6 months, and after which you can withdraw. That is fixed deposit. So go to monetary policy. Yeah, they said monetary policy covers decisions on the money supply, the rate of interest, and the exchange rate, although some economists treat changes in the exchange rate as a separate policy. Monetary policy influences the supply and or price of money. The aim of monetary policy is to influence aggregate demand. And in most countries, monetary policy measures are carried out by central banks on behalf of government. So when we talk about monetary policy, it's decisions about money supply within an economy. And when you're talking about money supply within an economy, it means you're talking about foreign exchange rate and interest rate, because these are ways in which money flows within the country. And what is the main reason why government comes up with monetary policy? They come up with monetary policy to influence aggregate demand. And what is aggregate demand? Aggregate demand is the total of all demand within an economy. So, but they said some economists treat exchange rate separately. But for me, I believe monetary policy goes with interest rate and exchange rate. And who takes this policy? Who is in charge of this policy? Is an institution that is in charge of this policy. That's the Apex Bank, which is the central bank. So go down. Changes in the money supply. They said a central bank can increase the money supply by printing more money, by buying back government bonds, or encouraging commercial banks to lend more. A central bank can increase the money supply by printing more money. That means because it is the duty of the central bank to print and mint money. So if they want to increase money supply, they could do that by increasing their printing or minting. Also, they can buy back government bonds. When we talk about government bonds, here, those money that they've given out, sometimes government borrow money from individuals.
Yes.
In return to bonds. Did you get it? Bond means like giving loan, a loan from an agreement that, you are giving certain amount of money to the government in return of a bond exchange. So that means government is owing you as an individual. That's the bond. Do you get it?
Yes, yes.
So if government wants to increase money supply, they buy back their bonds. Did you get it? Yeah, because bonds means that money is with government. Yes or no?
Yes.
So government wants to increase money supply, right? So those that are holding their bonds, government will buy it back from them. Then they have money. So money goes to the economy again.
You have the bonds and you have the money. Like
Government buys back the bond by giving you money. Those that have borrowed government money, those that government are owing.
Yes.
In as much as whenever you have a bond with government, it means government is owing you money.
Yes.
Great. So if government wants to increase the money supply, because a lot of people are giving government money, so that means money is a bit scarce. So if government wants to increase money supply, they could buy their bonds back by giving the bond holders money. The money will flow in the economy again.
Yes.
Do you get the point? That's the second point they are making there. And the third point is about government encouraging commercial banks to give out loans. And for government to do that, it means that government is reducing the interest rate to the central bank. Do you get the point, please? All right. So if the money supply is increased, there is likely to be an increase in consumer spending and investment. Such a rise in aggregate demand is likely to increase output. So giving government bonds back, buying government bonds back brings money into the economy. Giving loans, government coming up with policies that reduce interest rate, that increases government, because that brings borrowing becomes cheap, right?
Yes.
That a lot of people will be able to borrow. Spending will increase in the economy, and if spending increase in the economy, demand will increase in the economy, which means output has to increase.
Yes.
To respond to the increase in demand. So that is the point they made there. I think that is clear.
Yes.
So that is about changes in what? Changes in the changes in money supply. So now we go to changes in the interest rate. So when we talk about interest rate, we are talking about the price of savings or borrowing. Okay. So they said the main monetary policy measure currently used in most countries is changes in the rate of interest. When the central bank alters the rate of interest, it charges to commercial banks. Those banks are likely to raise the rate they charge to their customers. Such a rise in the rate of interest is likely to reduce aggregate demand by lowering consumer expenditure and investment. It will do in these three main ways. So, if the central bank comes up with changing the exchange rate, it might mean that commercial banks have to change their exchange rate too. So that means an increase in exchange rate. An increase in exchange rate will make borrowings to become expensive.
So saving.
That means consumer spending would fall. And if consumer spending falls, aggregate demand in the economy would reduce. Savings will be more within the economy because people want to seize the opportunity of high interest rate to start gaining for that through savings.
Yes.
So what are the ways in which all these things will happen? One way is that any households or firms who have borrowed in the past will have to pay more interest on their loans. This will reduce the amount of money they have to spend. So those that have taken loans, firms that have taken loans from banks, individuals that have taken loans from banks, because the interest rate has increased, they have to pay more.
Yes.
So as a result of that, their disposable income would fall, spending would reduce. The second point. The second way is that it will make it more expensive for households and firms to borrow to finance their spending. Borrowers will now have to pay more for any new loans they take out. So borrowing becomes expensive. Potential borrowers would have to pay more when it comes to borrowing. So they might opt out. The third point. The third way is that a higher interest rate will increase the incentive to save. Households and firms will earn more than before from saving. This means that for households, the opportunity cost of spending will have increased, and for firms, the opportunity cost of investment would have increased. Firms may also have less incentive to invest as they will expect consumption to be lower. So the third way is that a high interest rate will motivate people to save. So households and firms will earn more through savings. As a result of that, they would be discouraged to invest or spend. Households will not want to spend on anything. They would rather want to save because they will make money from saving. Government or firms would not have that incentive. They would not have that motivation to invest more or to increase their output because they know that consumer spending would fall. So that is the point. So some households, the last paragraph there, no, second to the last paragraph. Some households and firms that are savers will now earn more interest, and so they may spend more. Those people who save are, however, less likely to spend any extra money than borrowers are. And so the net effect will probably be a reduction in consumer expenditure. A higher interest rate will also reduce aggregate demand by encouraging the rise in the foreign exchange rate. Such a rise may lower net exports by causing a rise in the price of export and a fall in the price of import. So what is happening here is that if interest rate increases, people would prefer to save more. So people will make extra money from saving.
Yes.
So those that are savers would not want to spend on any expenditure. Do you get the point?
Yes.
So that means aggregate demand would fall in the economy. So if aggregate demand falls in that economy, it could increase the exchange rate.
Yes, decrease.
It will increase.
Increase.
Yeah, exchange rate. Foreign exchange rate, I mean.
Yes, sir.
So foreign exchange rate is the rate of a country currency, the value of a country's currency with other currency, the rate of the dinars to the dollars. That is foreign exchange rate.
So if the interest rate
If
raise,
people save more, there's no money in circulation, there's no money flowing in the economy.
so the currency will fall.
The-
value.
The value of the currency is becoming scarce. The value would rise.
Oh yeah.
Do you get the logic now?
Yeah.
People start saving. There's no money supply, there's no money in circulation. And if money is not in circulation, the demand for money would increase. And when the demand for money increases, the value of money rises. So foreign exchange rate would rise. Which means what? People will do more of import than export.
Import the next.
Yes, because your country's currency would buy more of other country currency. Do you get it? Do you get my point, please?
No.
No.
About import and export.
Okay. We said with an increase in exchange rate, with an increase in interest rate, what happens?
Exchange rate will,
When there's an increase in interest rate, people will start saving rather than borrowing. So money in circulation, money supply would reduce. So as a result of that, what happens? Demand for a country's currency would increase. That makes the value of that country's currency to rise. Foreign exchange rate will rise. So that means let's take Libya as an example.
Yeah.
If interest rate increases in Libya, the dinars will be scarce in the market. Yes or no?
Yes.
So that means even when you have the dollars, you won't see the dinars to buy. Now dinars becomes scarce. As a result of that, the value of dinars increases. So if the value of dinars increases, dinars will buy more of dollars. Yes or no?
Yes.
So that means with one dinar could be $5 or $3, for example. What I'm saying is, for you to have one dinar could buy like $3. Do you get what I'm saying there? It's high. So if one dinar will buy $3, what does that mean? It means we are buying more of the dollars.
So imports are
Dollar is dollar import or export?
import.
Import.
Yes.
So that means we will do more import than export. The price of export in this country would increase because we need $3 to get one dinar. So people that need people that wants to buy from Libya would not be able to use dollars to buy anymore because the value of dollar has increased.
So import.
If with $1, it becomes $1 is $3. It means buying from America becomes cheaper for the Libyans.
So import some more. Yeah.
Import will increase
Yes,
because we can buy more.
Yes, I get
But buying exports will increase because they need more dollars to buy a dinar.
Yes, I get that now.
Do you get the point?
Yes, yes.
So that is why import, when the foreign exchange rate of a country increases, it affects the net exports.
Yeah, exports will be less.
Net export would lower
Yes.
because import will be more than export.
So
Net export is export minus import.
yes.
Do you get it?
Yes.
Net export is export minus import. So if we do more of import, it means the balance of payment will go into deficit because our net export will be less. Do you understand?
Yes.
So an increase in interest rate would mean that there will be an increase in the foreign exchange rate. which is good for the economy also.
Yes, yes.
Because at that point in time, we do more imports,
Yes,
but doing more imports could lead to budget deficits too.
yes.
So we need to balance things up anyway.
To be balance
So
of payment.
there's always an opportunity cost. That's why
There
they
needs to be
said
balance of payment.
balance of payment. Yes.
Yes. Exports and imports.
So whatever the case might be, what they are trying to let you understand is that there's always an opportunity cost for every government policy. Is it clear?
Yes.
All right. So they said there may be times when the central bank decides to keep the rate of interest unchanged for a relatively long period of time. It may do this to promote certainty, which can make planning easier. This in turn may encourage investment. So if government of the country, yes, said there may be time the central bank decide to keep the interest rate unchanged for a relatively long period of time to promote. Why would government wants to quit, or the central bank wants to leave the interest rate unchanged? So that it gives investors confidence. It gives multinationals confidence that the country is consistent.
So it's not risky. It's not risky.
So they won't like, oh, things are changing every now and then.
Yeah, it's a risk if you do.
So prices are fluctuating. It's not good for businesses.
Yes.
So the central bank might come up with a policy of interest rate staying the way it is. So, excuse me, so that investors can invest.
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Then we go to changes in the exchange rate. They said the government will instruct the central bank to change directly the country's foreign exchange rate. Sorry, please. So changes in the exchange rate. So the government may instruct the central bank to change directly the country's foreign exchange rate or to try to influence it to move in a particular direction. A government may want the price of exchange rates to fall, for example, encourage a rise in exports. He said, when the foreign exchange rate increases, it would make exports to become expensive for foreign customers.
Yes.
So that means that country becomes less internationally competitive. But if government wants its country to be internationally competitive, it will reduce the foreign exchange rate.
Yes.
So that means export becomes cheaper for foreign customers. So exports will increase
yes,
in the economy. That is the point they're making there. Is it clear?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Now we go to the effect of monetary policy on government and macroeconomic aims. Okay. Monetary policy is used to increase aggregate demand. If a government wants to increase the economic growth rate and reduce unemployment, it may use expansionary monetary policy. It may use expansionary monetary policy, reducing the rate of interest or increasing the money supply. So there's expansionary monetary policy and there's contractionary monetary policy. If government wants to increase, yes?
I think there is also fiscal.
No, we are talking about the types of monetary policy here. We have expansionary monetary policy and contractionary monetary policy. So just calm down, huh? Listen to me. Okay. So for expansionary monetary policy, here government wants to increase aggregate demand. So for government to use, if government wants to increase aggregate demand, government can use expansionary monetary policy. How will government use this? Government will reduce interest rate and increase money supply. So if money supply increases in an economy, what happens? It means a lot of people will have money to spend. Expansionary monetary policy. If government wants to still increase aggregate demand, government might reduce interest rate. And if interest rate reduces, what happens? A lot of people will borrow, spending will increase in the economy. That is expansionary monetary policy. And for contractionary monetary policy, if government wants to reduce aggregate demand in the economy, maybe if the economy is like the price level is rising quicker, there's tendency for inflation within the economy. So government could use contractionary monetary policy. So how will government use it? Government will increase interest rate. If government increases interest rate, what happens? Spending will fall. Consumer spending will fall. Disposable income will fall. Then aggregate demand will fall in the economy. So demand pull inflation would reduce. You get it?
Yes.
Any questions about that?
No.
Okay, so we'll go to the questions, please.
Yeah.
Sorry, please. Okay, the question. The first one, it said, which one of the following said, which one of the following is a monetary policy measure? A decrease in government regulation
No.
on labor market, a decrease in government spending on education,
No.
an increase in
It's straight, yeah.
interest rates,
Yes.
an increase in sales tax. What's the answer?
C,
C. Why is it C?
because it's involving rate interest rate.
It involves what?
Rate
Interest rate, rate of interest, okay? So the answer is C.
Yeah.
Question 2. What would increase the money supply? What would increase money supply? A decrease in consumer expenditure, a decrease in investment, an increase in bank lending, an increase in the interest rate.
An increase in bank lending.
An increase in bank lending would increase money supply. Yes, thank you. So the third question, that's C.
Yes.
Question 3. Which type of institution is responsible for conducting monetary policy?
Conduct. Central bank.
Central bank, thank you. Number 3 is A. Question 4. Which of the following is most likely to increase demand in the economy? What would increase demand in the economy? We're talking about aggregate demand.
B. A reduction in
the rate of interest. So let's quickly look at the options. A reduction in government spending. If government spending reduces, that means subsidy reduces.
Yes.
Cost of production would rise.
Yes.
Prices won't be affordable. Demand would fall. Yes or no?
Yes.
So that it could be an answer. A reduction in the interest rate, that's the answer, right?
Yes.
Okay, because a reduction in interest rate would increase borrowing. As borrowing becomes cheaper, then a lot of people will be able to borrow, then they will be able to increase their disposable income, output to rise. C, a rise in budget surplus. If there's a budget surplus, it means government spending, government revenue is more than government expenditure. So that means government is making more money than spending. That would have meant that taxes are increasing.
Yes.
So it would have meant that the aggregate demand in the economy is falling too.
Disposable income is less.
It's less.
Yes.
So C is not an option. And the last one, a rise in income tax. A rise in income tax means that disposable income will fall.
Yes.
So A, C, and D would all, or A, C, and D would increase, would reduce aggregate demand in the economy. So the only option that will reduce or that will increase aggregate demand is a reduction in the interest rate.
Yes.
I think that's clear. So that ends monetary policy.